What's up, friends? I've got a brand new video for you today, and this is fun. We've got the DJI Mic 2 in the house, and I'm pretty stoked about this because I've always wanted one of the DJI Mic setups, and this is the newest one, and this one has 32-bit float internal recording. And fun fact, I was on set when we were shooting the promo video for this back in the fall, and I was really stoked about it because I found out that it did have 32-bit float recording, and I had to keep it a secret and not tell anybody. So now we can talk about it. We've got it in the house, and this is the carrying case, the soft carrying case that this comes with, and it looks really well made. It kind of reminds me actually of like a Peak Design case. It's got like the weather sealed zipper on it. But yeah, let's open this up and see what we got. So this is a nice little pouch. You'll be able to carry a bunch of cables. It does come with the 3.5 millimeter to 3.5 millimeter, so this goes into the receiver and into your camera. You've got our USB-C to USB-A cable, and this is for updating the firmware on the devices or actually transferring the files. Then we've got two wind muffs here, and that's to go on the actual units themselves so that it will cut out any wind pop or any noise like that. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. There's the case here. Ooh, that feels solid. Oh, I'll also timestamp this video if you just want to jump straight to the tests where you hear the audio tests on this, because we got to talk about this for a bit. There's a lot going on in here, so let's get into it. All right, so opening up the case, there's a little latch here, and you can also see the battery indicator down here, but push the latch, open the lid, and as you can see, everything turns on right as soon as you open it up. So the mics are on and the receiver is on. And everything's held in with magnets, so they just drop right in. Mic drops in, mic drops in. That's satisfying. Ooh, good click. These actually have little magnetic mounts on the back here, so if you want to mount it to your shirt, you can just clip it in here, put the magnet behind, and then you can put the mic on like that. I'm sure you've seen people walking around with the original DJI mics the exact same way as this. I just did a firmware update on this, so this is the newest firmware as of February 3rd, 2024. So I know there's a lot of reviews that came out last month or a couple weeks ago, and they're on the first generation firmware. So there was a few things tweaked and fixed and some bugs fixed on this. So that's awesome. We'll be able to try that out. So we can take out both mics and take out the receiver. And as you can see, there's a couple things left in here. So we've got a lightning mount adapter so that you can connect it to your iPhone. And then we've also got USB-C for connecting Androids, or I guess the iPhone 15 is also USB-C, and that's pretty cool. All you do is slide off this back trap door here, and then you can slide in the adapter, just like that. And then all you gotta do is plug it into the phone. Boom, like that. And now you can have both mics or one single mic going directly into your phone. And one other cool thing is if you own the Osmo Pocket 3, you can actually go directly from the mic into the Pocket 3 just through Bluetooth. You don't actually have to use the receiver side, and that's really cool. Wow, without even thinking about it, I just stuck this back in the case with the USB-C adapter on it, and it went in there fine. So there's a little cutout for that. You can leave that on. While we're looking at the receiver, we've got our headphone out as well as our camera output. So this is going from the receiver into the camera, and then you can monitor the audio directly off this, which is really nice. And then on the other side, we've got our power button and then USB-C for updating the firmware. All right, I think it's about time you hear what this sounds like, so I'll plug the receiver into the camera now. All right, you're now hearing the audio coming directly from the DJI Mic 2. This is what it sounds like using the internal mic on this. Now we can plug a lav into it. I didn't get a lav from DJI, so I don't have the exact DJI lavs for this, but I do have a third-party lav we can plug into it. And that's typically how I use these types of mics, because I don't really love seeing it on me, but I know a lot of people walk around with this clipped to them. And if I do, I usually just clip it to my backpack. So as I mentioned, this does have 32-bit float internal recording. And if I hit the little record button here, we can see it starts flashing red, and then you know it's recording internally to this. So I'll now switch over to this so you can see what this sounds like. You probably won't be able to tell much of a difference. The only time this is going to really come in useful is if there's some kind of interference coming from the transmitter to the mic, or if there is you're out of range and then you lose connection. So you'll always have nice clean audio on this, or if something clips, like you go somewhere where it's really loud or someone's screaming or you're screaming, basically you can bring that down in post and it won't be clipping, and you'll have nice clean audio. And that's the huge advantage to having 32-bit float internal recording, is that now you don't have to worry.
These mics will run for about 6 hours at a time before needing a charge, and the nice thing is the charge case has up to 18 hours, which will give you lots of record time before you need to charge the case. Now, as I said, the mic transmitters have internal storage that can record up to 14 hours of 24-bit audio or 11 hours of 32-bit float audio, which is pretty solid, and the way to get the files off the mic is to just hook it up to a computer through USB-C. It's going to show up like a hard drive, and then you can take them off that way. Now, I briefly want to go over some of the menu settings on the receiver. I have it now connected up to my Sony a7 IV. So, swiping down on the touchscreen, we'll jump into the menu. The first option is the receiver settings. In here, you can change what's being sent to the camera. You can do stereo, mono with a safety track. Now, right now, I've got it set to stereo, and this will split the two mics into left and right channels. The next option is the recommended camera output. In here, you're going to find the proper gain levels based off the type of camera you're using. Now, keep in mind the camera has to be set to the lowest mic input level for this to work correctly. The next options I'm not going to go over too much in detail, but you have receiver gain, headphone volume, toggle receiver on and off by camera, receiver auto power off, and linking mics. Now, let's go back to the transmitter settings. This is where some important stuff is. There's a low cut transmitter gain, which you might need sometimes based off the level input, the option to toggle on and off 32-bit float audio, record stop lock, the option to have noise cancellation toggled on and off from the transmitter, auto record when the unit turns on, your storage, and vibration notifications. Now, this is one of the best features of this mic system is that you can actually feel when you've started and stopped the recording based off that vibration. Now, we also have LED indicator and transmitter auto off. Now, when you're at the main screen, you can click in that jog wheel and adjust your output gain level. As you can see, it was already set to the recommended camera settings, but you can change that. You can click it in one more time, and then you can change the gain input level of each of the mics. Now, if you swipe up, you actually get some remote options here. So you can mute the mics, you can trigger the record on and off, and then you can also turn the noise cancellation on and off, as well as visually see it on the back of the display. When you only have one mic connected, you'll see basically the same screen, but with a larger level indicator of that one mic. And when the recording is triggered, you're going to see a red outline around that, letting you know that it's recording. Now, one thing I've kind of heard people complain about is that this is missing a locking 3.5mm jack. I actually noticed that around the back of the clip, there's a holder for a cable. So this will actually help secure the cord and keep the lav from being pulled out. And one cool feature that these mics have is intelligent noise cancellation, and we'll go test that outside. We'll go stand in the traffic somewhere and see how well that does. I don't know what else to talk about. Like I said, this has two mics, one receiver, so you can have two different people talking, and it splits on your camera, so you'll have a left and a right, and then you can fix that in post. Or you'll have internal recording on both, and you can just do that yourself. All right, so I'm gonna now switch over to a lav. All right, this is what the lav sounds like plugged in. This is the third-party lav. This is one I would typically use. This is not a DJI lav. It sounds great. I'm sure you can tell that it sounds a little bit more crispy and a little bit more clear because it's closer to me. And typically I would have this clipped onto me. But if we're going the TikTok trend where everybody holds the lav like this, it's become a meme now. Like, I was mad at first because I'm like, that's not how you use these mics, but everyone's using them this way now, so this is how we're doing it for this test. All right, so I think we've covered everything on the receiver side of it. So let's go out into the real world and see what this thing sounds like. And I will use the intelligent noise cancellation, so we'll go somewhere where it's noisy and see what that sounds like. So let's go. Do we wait for a bunch of cars to come by or just roll with it? All right, here come some cars. I am going to turn on the noise cancellation here just by tapping the power button. You see the noise cancellation come on? So now you can basically stand at the side of the road and talk to the camera when there's like 1,400 cars driving by. And hopefully this sounds pretty good and you don't hear the road noise. And I'll turn it back off so you can hear what it sounds like with the road noise. So now the noise cancellation is turned off. And this is what it would sound like if you had a whole bunch of cars driving beside you. And maybe I'll switch it back on because I can. So now the noise cancellation is turned back on. And you shouldn't be able to hear any road noise, and it should be very clean. This is going to be good if you're basically near anything that's noisy. The audio quality kind of comes down a little bit, but it will help you in a noisy situation. All right, we're going to do the range test now. Recording on this so that we can cut to this if it cuts out. I've got the measurement app open here. We're going to try and walk. Supposed to be able to get 250 meters. I have no idea if we can get that range out of this or not. Sometimes if you're not in line of sight, it'll actually cut out. But right now, the mic is in front of me, and so that is blocking the distance between the camera and the mic. Right now, we are at 30 meters. So I'm going to keep walking. I don't know how far I really want to walk, but we can test this out and see if we can at least get to 100 meters. I don't know how many people are going to actually be walking
way further than 100 meters away from the camera. It is so muddy right here. I'm also coming down with something, so I feel kind of sick, and this is what my voice sounds like. Okay, so now we got to determine if we want to walk through this mud. We are now at 51 meters. Oh, this is not good. I didn't bring boots. But I will say, it's nice that we don't have any snow right now. Could be worse. All right, we're continuing walking. I might just walk right to this cliff right here. Checking the distance again. We're at 75 meters. 250 meters is a long range now that I think about it when I'm actually walking this far away. I have no idea if it's cut out yet. There's a chance that it might have. But the nice thing is, we're doing internal recording as well, so I can cut to that if I have to. We're now at 93 meters. I'm just going to keep going. Hopefully you can still hear me. You probably can't even see me on camera anymore. So that's going to be a problem. I'll try and get back into sight here. And yeah. Do you really want me to go all the way to 250 meters? I'm at 107 meters now. Oh, it's getting kind of jungle-y back here. The Canadian jungle. Oh, my feet are wet. I just stepped in some water. All right, that's 111 meters. I can't actually go any further, so I'm going to come back. Oh, my feet are soaked. All right, that's a good range test. And like I said, if it did cut out, we have the onboard recording, so we can save it. And my feet are completely soaked. All right, there you go. That's what it sounds like. The mic sounds pretty solid. The built-in mics actually sound really good, but I would typically use a lav with this, and the intelligent auto noise cancellation was good, but I feel like you'd only really want to use that in like extreme conditions. Anyway, let me know what you think. Are you guys thinking about picking up one of these? I'll have links in the description. Thanks to DJI. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you dislike this video, give it a thumbs down twice. Don't forget to hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next one.